So last week I did a video, or 2 weeks ago I did a video on how God can give you dreams that are scary. And I took you through different scriptures, and one of them was on Abram, later named Abraham, in Genesis 15. And in that story, as I was reading that, one of my points was that God may give you that type of dream to prepare you, because in Abram's story, the dream involved a prophecy from God about how his heir, his descendants, they would inherit the promised land, but it would be after 400 years of slavery. And so that was a very serious thing, even though it's amazing. Abraham was happy that he would, in fact, have an heir and have these descendants, because he didn't have any children. And so God was telling him that he would be like a father of nations. And Abram is like, okay, but I don't have a child, so is this going to come through my servant? And so the Lord starts telling him, no, I'm going to give you children. I'm going to give you all of these descendants. And so Abram says, how do I know? I believe you that you're going to give me children, but how do I know that we're going to actually receive this land? And so he has a dream. And in this dream, it's terrifying, it's dark. And then God begins to speak to him in the dream and tells him that what I just said, that he would have these descendants, but they would be in 400 years of slavery, and then they would take the land. And so God was really trying to make sure Abraham understood the seriousness, that this is not just rainbows and clouds and sunshine, right? But that the generations after him would have to go through things. It would not come easily for them to receive the land. And so then I started studying Daniel 10, because I wanted to look and see if there was a connection with spiritual warfare and dreams. But as I was reading Daniel 10, I was remembering that it took a whole chapter of Daniel being prepared by this angelic being to receive the prophecy. So before he gets the prophecy about the end times, about what's going to happen to the nations, what's going to happen to Israel, all the horrible things that are going to happen, and the blessings, and he has a vision of an angelic being. And this angelic being, I guess his presence is so powerful that the people around Daniel, they can't see him, but they can't see the angelic being, but they feel his presence, and they fall out. Either they fall out or they run away in fear. And Daniel basically faints, or almost faints, and the angel has to strengthen him again. And it takes a whole chapter of Daniel describing this encounter before it gets to the prophecy. And then on top of that, the angelic being tells Daniel that because Daniel was fasting and praying about something, and that's when he has this vision. So the angel says, I've been doing this live, and oh, okay, it's still in my ear. So the angelic being says that it took 21 days for Daniel to receive an answer. So God had already answered him, but it took 21 days before Daniel could actually receive it, because the prince of Persia was preventing Gabriel, the messenger angel. And the prince of Persia is another spiritual being, but it's an evil spiritual being that is the prince over the land. And Michael is the prince over Israel, but they weren't in Israel, they were in Babylon because they were exiled. So anyway, that's how serious the message that God wanted to give Daniel was. And so I noticed, though, that the way he received this dream, one, was because he was fasting and praying. So we learn from this story and many other stories that fasting and praying can open up the vision and dreams realm. But two, that sometimes God may give you a dream or a vision to prepare you for the word that he has, because it may be something that's very serious, a very difficult thing for you to receive. And we may call this a warning dream or vision, but it takes all of that for them to be prepared for such a serious message, such a difficult message. And same thing we see with Joseph and the Pharaoh. God gives him this dream about the famine that comes. Now, there are solutions. Sometimes God provides solutions. Sometimes we can intercede. Sometimes, there's something we can do about it, whether it's preparing for it or praying that it doesn't happen, right? But God does allow us to have this information ahead of time, and we should be seeking him about, can we prevent this? No, we can't prevent it. Can we prepare for it? Now, in the case of Daniel, it was a long far off, and it's just something that he wouldn't be able to change. So God told him to write it down, and his words would encourage the people when they would go through that trial. So they couldn't get out of it. But just knowing that the Lord predicted, one, it would happen, and two, that they would be blessed and rewarded at the end of the trial, that gave the people encouragement and hope. We see again with, like I was saying, with Egypt and Pharaoh, the Lord provided a divine solution. Pharaoh was able, Joseph was able to say, okay, so since God is saying there's going to be 7 days of famine, 7 days of plenty, let's prepare for that time of famine when we have the time of plenty, because the plenty was coming before the famine. So you can prepare. The other thing is, sometimes this is to help us grow, right? And grow in intimacy with the Lord. And so, if you get a dream and it's talking about trials that you're going to go through and so on, this is going to cause you to get on your knees and pray. It should be. It's going to cause you to really seek the Lord, to seek his comfort, to look to him for hope. And so there is a reason why God gives you these types of dreams, and we see it in the Bible. So if you have a dream that is a warning dream, if you have a dream that shows difficulty, don't dismiss it. God does give those kind of dreams, and it's for a reason. One, to either prepare you, for you to intercede, or for you to grow. So write down your dreams. Please don't dismiss them. The Lord is speaking to you, and be encouraged. Take the time to grow in the Lord as you receive these. If you are someone who has not been recording your dreams, you haven't been writing them down, please write them down. For me, writing helps me to remember, and speaking it, talking it out helps me to interpret. So sometimes I do both. I have some digital journals that kind of walk you through the process of getting from writing down the dream, thinking through the dream with God, praying through it, and getting to interpretation and application. It's on my Etsy shop called Dove Expressions shop. I also just got my first sample of a journal that I am making, because I want to start making some physical ones. Now, this is not in the best. This doesn't look the best because it's a sample, but I did want to give you a sneak peek on the design, and I want to come out with more colors too. But this is the first prototype. There's some things we still got to work on here, but it's going to come with instructions, just like the digital one. There's a place for you to track it, to let you know the dreamer's involvement, the dream type. If you like to draw, you can draw your dream. Let's see. And, you can write out your dream. So there's so much more you can do in here. Brainstorm, application. And I'm thinking about adding a few more things. I may add some questions to help you to pull some things out. But if you want to hear more, Please return back to my page, watch more. I teach on how to receive interpretation. I have some prophetic words on there. Those prophetic words have dreams that I've had on there, and I put them up because I wanted you to see, not to dismiss dreams just because they seem silly to you. There is a meaning, there is a message. So if you would like to hear more, please comment, like, subscribe, save, share it. The algorithm needs to know that you like it and boost it up. So if you want a dream journal, I have a digital one in black, in purple, blue and white, purple, tan, brown, different colors. And there's a free one that is limited, but there's also a full one. I also blog about dreams as well on Substack. Again, it's Dove Expressions on Substack. So I'll see you next time. Subscribe if you want to be inspired, equipped, and empowered to draw near to God.